What's up all, and welcome to the Golf Grand Prix. You'll see here from the rules here, the new format here. It's going to be fixed club. It's going to be fixed wind. The prizes are going to get progressively better each and every day. You'll also see that's basically treated as kind of pass-fail. So you'll see for each division, you'll see the top two spots essentially move on. So you'll want to focus on trying to get through. Now you will have the option to rebuy back in the event that you don't earn one of the two top spots. But what you'll see here is each division kind of has their own rewards, and you'll see that they're scaled. They get better the more that you progress your account. And avoid things like playing down. So very unique format here. We're going to go ahead and jump into the Tour Pro. So we're going to come in. This is played at Harbor Town. It's going to be a 3-hole. You'll also see that the clubs are going to change each and every day. So this is structured towards more geared towards clubs, which players are not quite as familiar with. And you're going to see that they're fixed. So you basically see that you are forced to use these clubs. And this is where, it'll definitely help you to have a wind tool. Will definitely help you out. So if I was to go to the Play Store, for example, look up Guide for Ultimate Golf. That's what I'm going to be using here. Which is free to download. And I'll be using that throughout this guide here. That is this app. You'll see a wind calculator. You'll see a bag setup. So one of the things that I can do is I can just create a new bag, and we'll just do, I can just call this Grand Prix, for example, and I'll just edit this each and every day. So if I do fresh bag with the Grand Prix, we'll go into Ultimate Golf. It looks like Holy Driver 3. So let's just go ahead and get this set up. Apollo 9, Trailblazer 5. You can see how easy we can kind of get set up here. Orion 5, Atlas 4. Atlas 4, I believe it said Gearhead 5, if I remember correctly. Let's get that. Orca 2. Orca 2. So we set up a bag. Make sure that you equip them. They should all appear here in the clubs. Now we can go to the wind calculator, and this is exactly what we'll be using for our adjustments. For this, I'm going to go through these with, maybe some special balls, Tour Pro. You'll also see that the practice mode is enabled. So if you do want to use some practice, just for speed, I'm going to kind of get through this as fast as possible. And you're seeing this is saying only 2 some rings. So we're just going to maybe do a little bit of overplay. One of the things that may help you out as well, so let me go back to my aim real quick, come into pins. If you've been collecting pins, maybe top spin pins are going to be at a premium for stuff like this. Maybe driver wood. So you can see we can just get that much closer to the green. We can also do something like a driver wood pin, which would do kind of more or less the same. But why don't, for this one, I'll just use a top spin. You can see it's just going to get it up here just a little bit farther. The closer you get to the green, the easier the pitch is going to be to make. Keep in mind we're going to be using Atlas 4 for this wedge shot. And I have not scaled out this club before. But there's max club right there. One of the things that I did is I did do a generic percentages. So this would be an example of generic. Is what I typically do is I just zoom out and find the right scaling here, kind of like this. So this gives me an idea. That's 100%. And put this backspin on. You can see we can use the backspin for this second shot. Even a more reason to maybe use an all stat or something, just to give ourselves a little bit easier guide here. And this looks like maybe 72 73%, somewhere like that. It looks like we're also going to be landed on the fairway here. I'm going to try to avoid the fairway if I can. So I'll just come over this with some side spin. Try to avoid the fairway. This may bring it in just a little bit too hot. It might come in just a little bit faster than I want, but we're going for the hole out. And let's just call this 70%. We'll do this 70%. This is just going to give us a nice estimation. 1.8 rings at 70%. Let's just try to cock this just a little bit more to the left. We'll try to keep this ball guide as short as possible. This is where a backspin pin really would have helped you out. So what do we say? 1.8. I didn't turn my wind HUD on, which is this one. You can see that just brings the display up. And 1.8 rings, we know will be a close estimate. So we're going to use this tool here to kind of approximate the last, which is 0.8 of a ring. You'll see that I'm putting it on that tick mark. That looks like 80%. Here you can see it's coming in, and sure enough, we get the drop. So just like that, we are 1 for 1. So see how useful these apps can become just to give you approximations for clubs you otherwise would have no idea what to use. And there you can see a good view. And, you know, this is possibly a good time to, you know, especially if we're talking power 10. Let's try to put on some pins here. You know, maybe something to the effect of backspin. So let's see what a backspin pin looks like. And you can see it's going to allow us to have backspin we would have not had otherwise. So it just makes for this shot to be that much easier. And this is about 2 rings for max or so, or 2 rings for min. So we can go Apollo. We can go about 2 rings for min. Assuming that this is 10 rings or so. I have yet to set up my my zone for this. This is saying 2.9. Oh, but it has some extra backspin. I might not go 2.9 in this situation. So since I used extra backspin beyond the typical parameters, I might just go like more like 2.8. Let's just see what that looks like. It's because we've jacked up our backspin to beyond what the normal club is supposed to be able to do. So you'll see that you need to go less rings. Because what happens is, and you can see that I still even overplayed it at 2.6. It's probably like 2.7 rings here in this situation. So like a 2.7 there would have been probably a good estimate. And you can also use this slider if you want. You could try something like this, uphill 10. If you wanted to kind of shot copy and, you know, you could find a value similar to this, maybe uphill 10 and try like 265 or something like that. And keep in mind, it's because of the extra backspin. So what does the extra backspin do? It takes off all those bounces that would be farther to the right. So the normal Apollo is going to bounce X amount to the right. When you have extra backspin applied, it's just going to make it check up harder. It's not going to deflect to the right. It's just going to kind of come straighter. So that's why you need to under adjust that. So these are just those subtle nuances that you'll just want to try to focus on picking up along the way. And here for this one, we're just going to blast this up here as far as possible. Making sure to hit our ultimate shot. Keep in mind, these drivers, they're not going to be as stable as your normal clubs. You do have to worry about staying in the fairway. So do keep that in mind. And let's see what we got. 4.1. This will probably be up towards max club a little bit. 3.3, it's saying. 3.3. And there's max right there. I'm going to try to do this. Keep this ball guide just a little bit extended, because I expect it to collapse down a little bit. So keep in mind, ball guide collapses. So we're going to do this. Something along the lines of that. 3.3, somewhere like this. Oh, it's right at the max line. It is, in fact, right at max. Every little tick mark can make a difference. I don't know which one's right and which one's wrong. That's the problem. So let's just take a look at this, see what it looks like. Looks like it's coming in pretty good. So I think it broke a little bit harder to the right than I was expecting. Should have kept the tick mark just a little bit more to the left. And there you can see, you know, but it gives us a nice estimate. As you can see, very good chance that we can hold it out or still play a very tight, aggressive round. Keep in mind, you're not going to have a lot of replays for these. So you'll want to get that score up. You can see a -5, 36.58. It's a pretty strong score. So as your opponents come in, you know, your bracket's going to get harder. So keep all that in mind. But there you can see we're able to pass through and get a 5 under score with a very solid tiebreaker. And then looking at the rewards here, we're going to need to stay top 2. But you'll also see in terms of our practice, 3 replays only. So only 3 replays. You'll want to conserve your replays. You'll want to also conserve and potentially use your practice. Think about on that par 3, trying to get in and hone in on that pin to be able to get a hole-in-one. It's definitely going to be a possibility. So keep all that in mind. Best of luck out there, guys. Let me know how what you guys think about the new format. I'm really enjoying it. Thinking it's pretty cool. So hopefully you guys do as well. Best of luck out there. And feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Pass along this information to your friends so they know how to play these setups with this new Golf Grand Prix. Because otherwise, you're going to be playing with clubs that you've never seen before. So having something like a ring calculator makes it that much easier for you to hone in onto the pin. So best of luck out there. Let me know how it goes and see you guys next time. Take care.